G'day, hello, good evening as well. Thank you for listening. I hope you're well where you listen. This is a medical cannabis show. We're going to be talking today about genetics in plants and the doctors need Canna education in Australia. They're the two topics for today. I respect the law and I hope you respect the law too. And this is a show that promotes organic growing, even though you can do synthetics. There's many ways to grow, but I just promote for being sustainable. All right. So I'll put it on the big screen. I'll just wait a little bit, stall a little bit for a few people to arrive. And you can see on the screen, I'll talk a little bit about epigenetics. And what else is there? There's a double haploid production. So it's just a new way of breeding where you can get a stable genetics straight away. Well, not straight away, but within a couple of fryers or a couple of generations, you can get that. On the left, there's a little plant breeding chart that I thought was pretty cool. Just had a few little bubbles that can blow out. And on the right, it's just a nice little thing about Australia. Wake up. And the Greens are starting to do their thing in Australia too, the Green Party, which is excellent. So the Cannabis Legalisation Party in Australia is working for us, and also the Greens Party is working as well. So hopefully it's just be a matter of time, which is good. Now, back to this. That's long enough, huh? I reckon. All right. Doesn't show anybody's arrived yet, which is a bit weird. Is it working? Oh, well. Really? Okay. Well, it is what it is. It shows me here. Bit strange. Oh well. This is what today's going to be anyway. So I might as well just somehow make a start. Where else can I start presenting? No, I want to do this screen. Yes. Because you don't want to see my head. You just want to see all the slides that I show. There's quite a few today. Righto, sharing screen. So this is what I'm going to go through today. There's quite a few in here. Should be good. And first, we'll go over to this one. The TGA, bit of news first, bit of medical cannabis news. So the TGA, Therapeutic Goods Association in Australia, flags prescription cannabis as risks as pain experts claim there's a lack of medical benefit. So this is how Australia's heading. Because of a few people in the medicinal, your medical practitioners, the GPs and things, they're working with the media to promote this sort of stuff. So, yeah. Next one, the media and medicinal cannabis, why we need to get it right. So this goes on to say a little bit about, what does it say? The quality role and importance of media reporting about medicinal cannabis has been debated in Australia since the new wave beginning in the legislation of 2014. And we all know that it's very sad that there's such a big, the whole planet is legalizing it everywhere, but yet Australia still is against it because there's a few people, and I'm not going to go into that bit, I'll just report it. What's this one say? Cannabis constituents for chronic neuropathic pain, the clinical and animal evidence. So this was a study done. Yeah, look where this is done. Australia, about chronic neuropathic pain. But yet the media are saying it's not there. So there's a massive, massive conflict of interest, and it's a shame that the whole planet knows about this, but yet Australia is just so uneducated or the people that are in the power to change things, they've got a blind eye to it. They're not listening. They are set in their ways, and I'm not going to go on about it. But this is a study to, actually, I don't want to go on with the studies yet. It's report in the news. How cool is this? A member of parliament got on social media in Europe, that is, Europe, and was showing his medicinal plants, because they know the medicinal value like everybody else does. So I thought that was pretty cool. A few days ago, got on there showing his 4 foot wide plant, over 6 foot tall, going on about it. Yeah, well done. The Netherlands. The Netherlands are launching a cannabis pilot program to legalise it in a few months' time. See how that goes. See what it does for everything, how everything improves. The only thing that's not going to improve is big pharma, and then how they give out pills and those types of, what are they called? Yeah, them. Those are going to go down. That's the whole thing behind this in Australia, probably. I don't want to go and point fingers at anything. Absolutely. And there's another snippet from the paper. Where is this from? An online paper you can see here. Justice Department begins issuing cannabis pardons certificates under the Biden order. So in the USA, it's so recognised medicinal cannabis that they're actually going and pulling the people that have been busted for cannabis in the last 10 years, or for the last period, they're pulling their records out and squashing them. But yet Australia finds there's a lack of risk, there's a lack of evidence. The experts are saying it's just bloody. Next. Oh, yeah, and you still have to respect the law. I thought I'd put this in because this is in Canada, and the police, they went and seized 2.5 tons of dried cannabis. So these persons weren't respecting the law in Quebec, and they got in trouble. Yeah, look at that. That's a massive amount they had. So it looks like they're in the edible market, because edibles is quite good. Oh, look, that's what it looks like from overview. Wow, that blends in. Anyway, very good. So yeah, you can still get in trouble. So respect the law. Oregon lifts the hold on cannabis products with detected aspergillus. So if you're in Oregon, be careful, because yeah, they've just gone and changed that rating of the mold, which aspergillus. They test for 2 things in cannabis in the USA, and penicillin and aspergillus. And now they've found into the high levels that were in Oregon, and they've gone and just changed it. Approximately 2,500 pounds was being held back. Now it's sweet, it complies. It's for another reason why homegrown is the best, because the homegrown people can be aware of the conditions in the states and what's happening with the plants, and they can get the medicinal properties that they want out of it. Not like these folk that are in it for the money. Money only, because you don't want to smoke blooming mold. Another cool thing that Australia needs to wake up on, glyphosate has been banned. There's been a call for ban. Berlin calls for a ban in the European Union. So Australia just still uses it willy-nilly because it works fast. It kills everything. You know, it lasts for 12 months. So it'll go down and it'll kill everything in the roots, and it'll last and it'll die everything. You can see when it's been sprayed, because it puts a kill patch around the area for about 12 months, I reckon. And so all the microbes and everything's killed. It's just fully sterilized. And then it would go float down into the water table as well, and that would get through and would go follow on effects. So depending where it's sprayed and to how it enters the water tables and the river systems, it's really sad. And because the world's trying to clean up, Australia's got to bloody listen to this too and get rid of it. The farmers go, oh no, but how can we kill all these things instantly? We've got to somehow sustainably find a better way. There you go. That's the roundup for that. Still sharing. Good. I should see if anyone's arrived, actually. Say good day. Oh, yeah. Then Kelly, good morning. wasn't showing up on the screen. There you go. Good morning there, Kelly. How are you? Hey, Lene. How are you? Really sucks for Oregon. Yeah, it does. It's just more so why we need to grow this stuff ourselves. They're trying to... Yeah, anyhow, I'm not going to go on. All right, let's get into the slides. There's quite a few of them to go through. Right, number one. So medical cannabis's effect and fast acting for a neuropathic study. So they're saying, which one's better? Should you take all your pills on the right, like in Australia they want you to do, or you should just use one thing on the left, a plant, which you can grow it yourself, probably when it's legal in your area, and get rid of all of this on the right. The rest of the world's going to the left, but Australia's still stuck on the right. Pathetic. But there's some good things happening, because the Greens' proposal in Australia would legalise home cultivation on the whole of the Australian continent. So they're trying. So please, people, get onto the Greens party and the Cannabis Legalisation Party. They're our advocates in Australia who will make change happen. And good on to Denmark. Props, this is in Denmark. Look at that. So you can see up the top here, Copenhagen, Cannabis Expo, legalise cannabis. So it's really cool. Good on them. Denmark. Oh, yeah. I shouldn't say that. I was going to say good day. That person that starts with A. Hello. I really like this. It's so rad. Look at those blooming hands. I just really like that. And this is some old stuff just to show it did work back in the day, and it was until it was made illegal on the planet. The original mainstream medicine. So this is from the States. What does it say? From 1850 to 1936, cannabis was used as primary medicine for 100 illnesses and diseases in the States. And then it got outlawed. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah. So it just does work. So the whole world's changing. Australia will take its damn time, because et cetera, et cetera. Cannabis is medicine. And they put a little thing down here, cannabis. And then they've said a few things on how it helps. So cell protectant, analgesic, neuroprotectant, a natural relaxant, an anti-inflammatory, a bone stimulant, and it inhibits cancer growth. That's insane. Inhibits cancer growth. And there's some great studies to show all these things, great studies to show it's all true. And the last one is sedative. And it's really good. I use it for nearly all of these things, and it helps me. If I don't have it, I'm all sorts of mess. So it's such a medicinal product for me. There's another one. Another back in the day. Okay. Extract 1 to 8 grams per. Okay, it's got a few other things. Sharp and Baltimore. Oh, this is capsule form back in the day. So what's this say? It was an analgesic 64 years before aspirin. Cannabis made up of half of all medicines sold, which virtually no fears of its high. Can you believe that? I blooming can't. Pathetic world. I like this because it was a concert, a cannabis concert, and it showed at 4:20, and they're saying, get ready, everyone spark up now. And look at 4:21. It was in Vancouver. There's another cannabis extract that works back in the day. Strength is 25% of the USP solid extract. Doses, 2/3 of a grain. Pretty cool. And I put this in just to show on trickery. So this person's 20-foot plan isn't quite a 20-foot plan. Look at the slope of the ground. So the slope here is where it's planted, is virtually at his chest height. I mean, I'm not denying it's massive, but it's just trickery. That's all. It's just not, clever photography, that's what we call that. But great effort and fantastic health. It should be, see how it's just going into flower? So now's the time that it wants to be thinned out. Because see how you can't see through it? So there's a high chance that in the middle, you'll get mold and fungus and all sorts of problems. So you just want to thin it out, even branches, take branches, all sorts, everything, just to thin it, just so you can see through it a smidgen. And that's because most of the places where it's grown, it's not dry areas, where it's high humidity. So if you get that overnight, high humidity, yeah, be careful. Oh, now we're into a bit of Australia stuff. What society says after roll smoke. So there's all sorts of problems in Australia, but it's what you do actually after you smoke. It's so positive. Well, with me, I can focus. Like for my studies, I don't know where to start. And then all of a sit down, bang, I can read slowly. I'm not trying to speed the words up and all sorts. And this was shown before. So I have the Greens proposal to legalise home cultivation in Australia. Just excellent, excellent work. Hope it happens sooner than blimmin' later. There's a huge potential in Australia's medicinal cannabis market, as shown in this graph. So this is from the statistics chart on SBS. So it's massive. So at the moment, so when it first came out, it's legal, like here in the ACT, it's legal, but for medicinal wise, it's legal federally. But it's really hard to get good quality unless you want to pay top dollar. So like most people who are on the medicinal program, they need it to survive, to function. So they're on government income and they can't afford that, like myself. So look at this. So it was 2024. So they reckon next year it's going to be 1.2 billion, but only in 4 years' time, it's going to triple nearly the medicinal market because, yeah. So as per this thing says, Australia's, I'm not going to comment on that. Here's some record sales. So just for the August sales in the States over in USA, they had $1 billion. It does in August sales. Right, that's what I said. It's 1 billion. So that's a large amount just for 1 month. So why can't... this slide says medicinal cannabis use hits 1 million high in Australia. Don't believe the hype. Top left says your GP doesn't think medicinal cannabis works. Can you flame and believe? This is Australia. It just sucks how Australia doesn't consider themselves. They want to try and like I study the weather as well. I used to, and they wanted to. Australia's written their own program about terminology, even about they won't accept other people in the world. And I don't know why. We're the same blimmin' continent, same planet. So what causes cannabis hydrosis syndrome? So this is just a bit of a survey that was done with the survey of cannabis industry insiders to show what causes the problems. And you can still see it's pretty broad. So there's still a lot more to be investigated in it. This is a study in the States too. And I put in pesticides, but I think it's something else as well as pesticides because it's the chemicals that people, don't flush everything out properly, and it's what they use in it, these cancer-causing agents, the PGRs, and other problematic pesticides and things that they use in veg. They think, oh, it won't show up in flour. Well, someone's systematic and stays in the plant. So anyway, there's a lot more education needed. What's this one's referring to? Oh, this is an Australian medical cannabis study that just shows some of the pain relief and the side effects from the different receptors that have been activated. That was the study on the animals. That was one before. And there was a bit of a contradictory news how some papers have been putting out how it doesn't work in Australia. This is a seed purity analysis test. So this is to tell how pure your seeds are. And there's a bit of a maths formula down here. So if you go through and you can work out your pure seed over the total weight sample. So you've got to separate your seeds into their non-plant leaf material, non-green leaf material sort of form. So it's just seed only. So it's pure. So this just shows how to do it. I'm going to go through this in detail a lot later on, but it's pretty cool. I just thought it's interesting. What's this put in? Oh, this is just a nice looking field at the end. Actually, that's why I put it in at the end. Because see how it's nearly at the end? Well, I'd consider it is. But look at the leaves. A perfect example, as this is going to smoke is going to rupture your throat. It's going to cause head problems. It's going to not give you the feelings that you want out of it because it's retained all its chemicals. It should be senescing, hardcore senescing, where these massive fans should be all yellow like this plant in here. See, this one's probably got an ELF3 dominant gene where it's finishing early flowering gene, possibly, and it's doing it, or it's starting to. But all of them should be like that. So this is an example of they've fed it too late. The substrate that they put in was giving nutrients to the plants when it didn't need it at the end of its cycle. They didn't steer this crop correctly, and therefore they'll still put it out and you won't be able to tell. The only way you'll be able to tell is when you smoke it and you just get that horrible throat hit, or you get a spin that you don't want. It's just awful. I hate it. The headache in the corners of your brain that's what I get. This was pretty cool. This was put into this. They reckon that this cow goes into the cannabis fields in the morning to eat the flowers, and it's an old cow, and they hypothesize that it's because it's got pain in it and it wants to reduce the pain, and it's getting positive effects from eating it. So cows probably have an endocannabinoid system too. It's everyone knows, but Australian blooming in power. And the reason they don't know it, I can't say. Corruption sucks in Australia, doesn't it? All right, onto a bit of a drying. I like to show the drying because, there's 8 stages to getting your medicinal cannabis out before you smoke it. And you've got to do every stage properly, or it's considered street cannabis. Well, definitely not medicinal because it hasn't retained its medicinal properties. So I like this because this is a pretty rad setup. It could be a little bit too thick because see, there's not much air in there, but they bucked it down all right by taking off the big branches and making them into small branches. But that's just my personal opinion. See, look at the size of the chair. You can see it's massive. Now the drying. I've got a few drying things. This is nice. See that? How can that go wrong? For mold and things like that, the mold starts to increase when the humidity is above 65%. That's where Saccharomyces cerevisiae starts to germinate, and most of them are about 70 or 75%. So if the room's 60%, inside of the flower, you've got 70, 75% moisture. So it's really important to consider that at the end of the after harvest, post-harvest operations. Oh, that's another snippet. Yeah, that's massive, isn't it? See, it's got wood. Solar wood would help absorb all of the moisture. So that's probably an advantageous of doing that. Where in these rooms, you got just drywall, plaster, and with painted surfaces, which doesn't absorb it. I thought this was funny. Cannabis is safer than ketchup. The American Journal of Medical Medicine published that cannabis helps control blood sugar, that it helps prevent diabetes and obesity. High fructose corn syrup can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, which is one of the most common causes of death in the world today. The reason why I call it cannabis and not marijuana is because marijuana was used as a street term to demonize it back in the 30s by Henry Anslinger and his gang in the States when they made it, outlawed it. So that's why I never call it that. I call it, consider it cannabis, and especially medicinal cannabis. Oh, into the genetics, plant breeding. I'll see if there's any questions, actually. Yep. Hey, J-Rock Cultivations. How you going, mate? I'll see you. Hey, Dav 23 stack. How's it going? The plant droops. The plant drops its leaves naturally. Yes, must have been in the senescence time. That's what you're looking for. You know, if you've got a fungal or a problem in the plant when it won't drop its leaves, when it's senescing and it can't detach, it goes through a gassy. I'm not going to go into that. But very good. What else we got here? THC overconsumption is a joke. Yeah. Yes, us users, we all know what's up. If you overconsumption, you just go to blimmin' sleep. That hydrosis syndrome, that's for uneducated doctors that want to blame weed how they don't like it. It's that street weed you're using. Yeah, that's right, doctor, because in Australia, we can't blimmin' grow our own. or most of the places I'm talking, in the ACT, makes up 1% of Australia. So 99% of Australia is not legally allowed. Love the cow. Yeah, the cow's cool. Hey, Buds and Hazards. How you going, mate? What's Lene say? One of my favourite growers, legal, dries and cures in cedar rooms. Cedar rooms? Cedar rooms? Some of the best flower I've had too. Yes, maintaining every stage of the 8 cannabis growth stages to be primo, and then you'll have a primo outcome. I consider when you squeeze the buds, when it's growing, if you don't get that when you're smoking it, the same smell or taste, I consider it a failed post-harvest practice that I've done. And I only achieve that, 25% of the time, I reckon, because everything's not dialed in to be perfect as. Mind you, it comes out rad, and I'm extremely picky, but I'm just stating it's about genetics. All right, back to sharing screen. No questions today, which is all right. Plant breeding. So what's it made up of? What do they consider? Genetics, biotechnology. Yes, biotechnology is tissue culture and stuff. Robotics, okay. Big data. Biotechnology is there again. Bioinformatics, okay. Genomics. Yes, different types of omics studies, but that's to do with the genes. Statistics, agriculture, pathology, and entomology. Righto, that's very all right. I didn't read that when I put it up. I just thought it was cool. There could be a few things added. This is really rad. This is double haploid technology, where they're manipulating the chromosomes to be pure, in a sense. So how it's done is over here. So you'll have your inbred parent with your other parent that you're going to mix with. You'll cross them, and you'll have a double haploid donor, which will be out of here that you'll find. So you'll grab the pollen out of that, and you'll reproduce it in biotechnology, and you'll make it it'll turn from, when you pollinize, when you reproduce a spore, it is a haploid because it halves its chromosomes. So it goes from a diploid into a haploid, and then it's a single haploid. So over here, then you put it through another sequence. So you'll have the plant, and you'll get its cells, and you'll put it through a treatment that will be, I don't support that treatment because it's poisonous. Oryzalin is a treatment that is a safer treatment rather than that one there that I'm not going to mention. And then it goes through and it doubles the chromosomes. So you'll end up with a haploid, which will double. So you'll have a double haploid, which means it's it's homozygotic, meaning that all of the genes in it are stabilized fully. So it's double haploid, then it just goes and you self it out. Bang, you've got a new double haploid line that is so clean and so stable that you've done it within only 2 generations. I'm playing around with a little bit of stuff like that. It's really cool. What's epigenetics? Epi is the word for, don't know, I can't remember the epi. In the future, no, I can't remember. Epigenetics is an emerging area of, epigenetics is this related to child development. I didn't look into that. Wow. It's from growing a plant in an environment that it adds the environment onto. So a plant has genes. It's not really good looking at children. A plant has, there's the DNA helicoil. Plant has its genes, and it'll go through and express those genes. And then when different temperatures happen, it'll alter the gene expressions to give different pathways, which give different outcomes. So epigenetics is when a plant's genetics is expressed differently from its environment. Like there's a cool slide which I could show, which will take a bit to find, where it's your phenotype equals your genotype plus your environment. I hope that explains it a bit. And it's very important. There was actually a pretty cool study that they did a while ago on cloning of mother plants to see which clone site limited the epigenetic swing. And they found that right in the middle, to just beneath them, if you in the middle of the plant, then go just beneath it. That's the area there, that's to clone from, that has the less epigenetic swing. where up in the top and down in the bottom, they found that it can swing quite a lot, so it won't be the same as the original mother plant. And this is a cool thing, just to show that it's a no-till. So you can express genetics differently in all types of mediums. But this is a cool no-till one. And the benefit about this one is if there's any bugs that are going to come in here, which you pretty much always get bugs unless you're in a lab, they will go to here first, and they could have some marigolds, some other plants that are trap plants to attract the bugs. So that's a good example of good symbiotic activity. This person doesn't use any pesticides or anything, so it eliminates that from the grow. This person would not do anything to hurt the substrates, so it eliminates any PGRs and things like that because everything else is thriving. There's no disease. Everything's in check. So it's a good little system. Props to that person. Except for the little lights. Anyway, I don't know on the size. Probably a 4x4 looks like. Pretty cool, though. This is a phenotype mega hunt, California's largest annual pheno hunt, hosted by Humboldt Seed Company, where they're going to put 5,000 seedlings, test them, pull out phenotypes that they like through marker-assisted breeding, and then go and clone them out and produce mothers. So you don't have to do this for this is just a massive one that a company's got a lot of space and money to do that. You can do that even with 3, probably 2 seeds is enough. But if you go into Gregor Mendel's inheritance laws, it shows that if you've got you get about 9 expressions out of a heterozygotic plant. So if you've got quite a lot of mixes in its parents, that's the different types of phenos you can get. And if it's homozygotic, you should only get 1 at the max 2 different expressions out of it. So you don't always have to go and run different massive amounts of seedlings under the inheritance laws of plant breeding. And if you can do your genetics correctly and bring out the best in it, you might get expressions like this. Look at this. This is pink trikes growing under a HLD lights. So the amber, so in other words, there's no purple at all, and it just shows the different cells inside of the trichome head that are expressing its color. So these pathways differently being activated to produce that different medicinal properties. So it's pretty cool. So they're going anthocyanins. So that would have more anthocyanin effects. It would have more anti effects and be more beneficial from this grower's techniques from expressing their genetic potential. And this is just nice, wasn't it? Had to put a nice one in. See, a strawberry pie just had to be nice. See how this is finished better? See how look, their leaves are pretty much senescing. There's no big fan leaves. You want the little flower ones senescing as well. Well, that's what I do. I want them senescing, and then I know it's pretty ripe. I get a bit upset if I don't see them senescing, and all of their pistils and anthers, they're all just dead, and there's still green leaves. That's when I don't get happy at all, because I didn't steer the crop right. So it's going to get rid of its nutrients upon harvest. But this is done well. And this is a cool sensory map. So for those folks that want to learn, how does he know about his terpenes and stuff? How does he think that it's lemony or limey, or how does he know that it's got a roasted or nutty effect? You know, this is a chart where you can start off on, so you can know, all right, it's a bit fruity. So you come over to this chart, big pie chart here. So it's a bit fruity. So then you go, all right, what type of fruit do I get? Do I get prunes? And you can picture all of these, and then at the same time, and just know that's what it's like. So, all right, it's more of a citrusy. It's a red. Okay, that's what this is referring to. Vanilla is something that I'm hunting for. I want and would like a vanilla cultivar some type, chemovar, I suppose I should call it. But yeah, I just thought this was pretty insightful. It shows how you can actually work out what the outcome's going to be for all those. What else we got? Oh, and this is the politician's plant. It's his 4 foot wide, how he got online. In Germany it is. Very good on him. Oh, and this is support. So thank you for those that support. So $5 is the membership thing, and I really, really appreciate that, because I virtually get nothing out of that. And yeah. So $80 gets you about a dozen of my private lectures, courses that I've got in there. One of them is biomimicry, actually, which is pretty rad. Talk about that later. $150 gets a 20-minute call and an novelty gift, like a chart or something I've made. That's how legal you are. $300 gets a weekly video call, or it's more so for a company where they're going through aiming for startups, or a person who's dealing with a lot of doctors' problems and wants my educated opinion. And especially for those folks in Australia, because I've helped out folks overseas, especially in Australia, holy mackerel, it's too easy. Canna jobs, entrepreneurships in cannabis. How can we make money from the legal stuff that we love? Well, this person's done it from artwork. They've very nicely put a relaxing beach with some very healthy looking leaves. Nice and fat leaves too, not natural sativa, so I like that style. Here's some nice trippy artwork as well. Very relaxing. Looks good. I like the waves. I love surfing. Don't do it. There's another artist. Nice drum kit with I don't know if I agree about that. That's a nice looking nitrogen deficiency, but it still looks pretty, doesn't it? To the untrained, I suppose they think, oh wow, look at that. And here's the brewers, or those folk that want to try and are into making drinks. You can just add a little bit of tincture and bang, put a market out, and you've got it. Like these people who are absolutely cleaning up. And if that's the price there, if it's $7.99, this is in the States, 12 ounces. If it's $7.99, holy mackerel. That is insanely expensive for just a normal canned drink. So to produce that oil, it's so cheap to get the tincture, and it dilutes so much. Anyway, good on them. So it's just another mention for those looking for jobs, how we can exploit our legal industry. So if this is for brewers, so CBD is legal now worldwide. Even in Australia, you can see CBD is legal, and they sell it in selected chemists over the counter. And this is India's first hemp-infused beer. So where's Australia's first hemp-infused beer? So for your brewers in Australia, get your little brewing action, get some tincture, bang, bang. And this is pretty cool. This is bubble bath. Actually, no, it's not bubble bath, but I put it in here because I like the word bubble bath. It says it's there. This is actually for vaporizers. But no one's done, or I've heard of, bubble bath. So it's just a neat treatment because cannabis is topically absorbed quite well. And that's another way of getting into the system for those folks with bad lungs or who don't like consuming it in that way. What's this for? Oh, there's a Canna shake. So they've actually got now a Mendo Breath Canna shake. So they put it into the protein shakes. I have my protein shake each day. I wouldn't mind having a bit of medicinal relief in mine as well. So what they just just put some grain trichomes in there, some keef powder. Holy mackerel, that's how they do it. A smidgen of keef powder to equal that batch. So they'd make the whole 1 ounce batch, 28 gram batch, put a smidgen in, test it, see if it come out at 26, and then you'd know. Gosh, that's easy to do, isn't it? There's for the dressmakers. How funky is that? And as cannabis becomes more legal across the planet, there's going to be more people who are going to be wanting this type of attire. I wouldn't even mind something like that. Once I show my face soon, when it goes legalized everywhere, I'll be looking for things like that to wear and make it interesting. Look at this. Look at this microscope. Hang on, it's not a microscope, is it? Oh, what's this thing at the front? It's a one-hitter thing. Oh, wow, there's a little dab rig. Heated up under there, spotted in there. Isn't that amazing? I turned a microscope. So this glass blower, and these things too, these glass bongs that they make, or this is a glass dab rig, they're top dollar. In the States, this might be $1,000. So what's that, 1,500 Australian or 1,300 Australian, top blimmin' dollar. So if you're into glass or thinking about it, yeah, actually this is way more. Look, to blow this, they do this separately. See this piece here? That's formed separate to this, and then they heat them together. So there's well, that's probably a few thousand. Anyway, well done to the person. I like this. This is old school. And also for entrepreneurs, you can go and make some soap. So this back in the day, Dr. Bronner's in the States, they sold this hemp infused soap. Says all the ingredients there. Good luck. Go ahead. CBD soap would be legal in Australia, as far as I know. All this stuff you can't quote me because I'm not a lawyer. I just read articles from others. I like this too. Just women power in medical cannabis. Go women. Woo. Because women do it the same as blokes do. And what a rad sign this is. Be warned that this is a cannabis legal area. So for the next half mile, there's going to be folks that are going to be walking around like this with their devices. Be warned. It's cool. Just in time for holidays. Oh, this is a massive joke. This is fully a joke. I should have even written joke across the front. But yeah, for those who know it's a joke, it's funny as. So I'm not going to go and explain what it is, but because it's just a joke. That's just what it is. So but it's funny though. And look at that bit there. Like what? Good on him putting a little disclaimer there. Probably a few years out of date, but good on him. I like it. It's a joke, meant for a joke. What's this? New Frontiers data. Favorite product form by age. So 2022 versus 2023. How are we changing? Do we like pre-rolls, blunts, edibles, hand vapes, hand pipes, or bongs? What's the trend going in the USA? So here, to pre-rolls, getting into it big time because people are too busy. Blunts, virtually down to nothing. I think blunts has tobacco in it. Don't quote me. Please put in chat if you can, so we can get it out there. Does blunts have tobacco in it? I think it might. Blunt wrap. Anyway, you'll help me in chat. Thank you. And I'll clarify that at the end of this. Edibles. So edibles 17%, now up to 30. Massive market increasing. Handheld vapes, 7, gone up to 8. Same. Hand pipes, 5, gone up to 13. Massively increasing because it's getting legal now. People can have their hand pipes everywhere because they usually stink. So in bongs, 9%, down to 5 because of the water filter. It puts moisture on the lungs, and it's not an asset for medicinal factors, I suppose. I was raised on a bong, and when I was 17, I started hitting it and hit it blooming hard till I was 21, and then I was coughing up all this black stuff all the time, and didn't even smoke cigarettes. And I put it down to the bong. So when I went to my Volcano and my Mighty, I eliminated it fully. Still smoke 2 to 2.5 pounds of medical cannabis a year, but yeah, eliminated it. Oh, and here, I'll just stop this now to see if we can see if the blunt terminologies come through. Has someone helped with blunt? Yeah, rad. Thank you. The blunt, the delayed bird. Thank you. Blunt equals tobacco leaf wrap. Sweet it is. Yes. What else has been said here? I'll scroll up for a bit. Hey, green bicycles. Favourites, lovely. That's what we're up to. G'day, green bicycles. How you going, mate? He's a very nice fella. Billy Buds, what's happening, Billy Buds? No more show pats. No more show pats. Explain that, Billy Buds. What's pat mean? Cookies and cream. Oh, gosh, as water drips out from my mouth. Oh, it's internal chat. Not really. Bill Buds. Not feeling it lately. Oh, okay. Some stuff. Bill Buds. I put, not sure what that means, but not read it. Usually much more than 150 milligrams. Yep. Oh, yeah, the microscope's trippy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Be worth top dollar. Not cheap. Good old Dr. Connors. All right, we're back to it. And then the blunt wrap. Okay, cool. All right, I'll get back and talk a bit more. Show a bit more so. So that's cool. So yeah, the blunts. So that must be the tobacco. People are learning tobacco and the health factors in tobacco, how there's none. And they add bitumen, all sorts of chemicals. So, yeah. Because if you have real tobacco, it actually goes out. What's it called? Chop. It goes out. And they put something in the tailor-mades to continue it to be lit, or it stays alight or something or other. Here's something positive. I found the pot at the end of the rainbow once, and I smoked it, it says. I hope you can have a laugh too. That was funny. Good on them. And what's this one? This is the duration of subjective psychedelic effects mirrors the length of the induced neuroplastic window. So what's this actually say in layman terms? It's got some different psychedelics here, and it shows when you have them to how long it takes when it hits your body, and also how long it stays in your body. So they show ketamine, psilocybin, MDMA, LSD, and another one. All of these are pretty much legal in Australia now. I've used ketamine for a few years in the ACT. It's legal under prescription, so I've used that as a painkiller. Psilocybin is fantastic for resetting your brain, and I don't support the others because they don't reset your brain. But they're still legal in Australia. Psilocybin is rad. Cubensis, more so. But yeah, okay, back to the graph. So on the x-axis, acute subjective effects in a human. On the y-axis, we've got a time in hours, 3, 6, and 9. So after ketamine happens within 30 minutes to 2 hours, and it wears off. Psilocybin tapers in to about 30 minutes, it'll hit you and last from 3 to 6 hours and taper off, which I agree with. Actually, more so on the higher end, 5 to 6 hours, I'd agree with. We're not my 0.7 to 0.8 doses. I'm not going to go on with the rest. Yeah, I'm not going to explain the rest. I'll not go. And then the neuropathic effects they're saying here, which is something I wouldn't have a clue about. So how long does it actually last on your neuropathic system in your body, your neurons? So do you get effects from that? Well, you do. They were saying from 48 hours in ketamine, and psilocybin is 2 weeks worth. So that is really, really cool. So these psychedelics, there you go, who have a long-term effect. Oh, here's the seed testing. So this is the thing, the seed testing chart at the start that I said I'd go through in a bit of length. And I'll just explain it a bit more in detail now. Seed purity test. Do you know what the physical purity test and how to measure purity of your crop? So this tells you, it goes into a bit, the objectives and the purposes to determine that seed lot conforms with prescribed standards of seed certification. There's different percentages of seed. We want to be in the range of breeder seed. So we want to be in 98%. So we want to have extremely, extremely low amounts of problems, green leaf material and everything else in it. To provide physical pure seeds for conducting germination tests, you want the percentage, the viability, how vigorous it is, how dormant they are, in other words, your percent of how many germinates, and storability. Germination tests are based on pure seed components. Improve the crop planting, no, getting on a pure crop No. Hang on. Getting on a pure crop and healthy crop at a high percentage by removing other crop seeds and other weed seed. No. Calculate the seed rate. That's pretty much about it. All right. So in other words, you want to, one thing is to extract all the shit from it. If you're a seed manufacturer, you have to make sure there's no green leaf material and other problems in there. Also, some diseases stick on the outsides of seed coats. So if you maybe want to go through a washing cycle now that other companies put other seeds through a wash, you don't know if there's been airborne things that have been picked up as well. Depends on your facility. So it can be the inert matter. So that's divided into all these problems that you can get. That's why you're extracting all that bad material. Other crop seeds, you should definitely not have that. But you want to test them to see what the viability is and how strong they are. And that's about it. So it's just a seed purity analysis to see what's in your seed. So seed testing labs will be a germination test, a vigorous test, viability test, seed health test, how dormant the seeds are, storability test, and how pure your genetics are, if they're homozygotic or heterozygotic. It's the outcomes that I tend to do if I'm doing those types of things. That's the last slide. Really? Let's just have a look there. I believe that. It is. Last slide. I've been talking for that long. How long has it been? Let's have a look. Has anybody got any questions or anything like that? Who's got something to say? How long have we been here? 51 minutes, all right. Huda. What's Huda saying? Huda420, g'day as well. How you going, mate? Is it true that male cannabis plants can't pass on traits to females? Absolutely not true. Absolutely not blimmin' true. Next. Is it true that you can't give a female plant new genetics from a male plant, as is every genetic recombination? Yes. Recombination, yep. Every genetic combination which is possible can be given to a female by only breeding females only. Sorry, a little tricky to explain the message. I understand, mate. Good question. I'll leave that up. So Huda is asking about breeding with males and females. Do genetics pass on? The easiest way to explain, what happens when a male and a female human breed? Oh, no, that's a bad example because we're talking about, oh, no, sorry. Not going to use this example. It just transfers the same. There's two diploid chromosomes with the genes on them. So when they go through their mitosis in their cell division, when they're breeding, I'm going to show you some charts here, just so I can my words will go into something, a chart that you can explain. So I'll try and find something for us, mate. What do we want? Plant study, genetics. Let's go into here. I'll just share a screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Who's written a little bit more, as in the double X. Yep, bred with a X, 2XX. Okay, so sorry, no XY can be. Yeah, the females, he's talking about down here with the XX and XY. That's the chromosomes in the males and the females. I'll put this plant. Just let me get to a screen and then I'll explain it to you where I hope it'll come through nicely. No. Yes, now I've got to find something. Breeding. Or just a basic breeding. Chromosomes, no. Maybe in here, breeding. There's something on here? What was the question? Breeding with males and females. Okay. So over here is the female plant I induced. So once I induced her, I blocked the ethylene production and it started producing these male bits. The male bits, then they produce the pollen over here. So here's a little taxonomic thing. So the male bits are, it calls a sepal, S-E-P-A-L, is this pollen sac. The anthers, which are called bananas, cannabis people call it bananas, but the anthers, they're the bits that contain pollen grains that are the male bits for putting on the top of this stigma that put out a pollen tube and go all the way down into the perigonal bract and in through the ovary up here through the micropyle and into the egg cells. So it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female to pollinate it. It's going to do the same thing. The only difference is if you put a female here that I've done to another female, which is what I'll be doing, because I grab the pollen out of here, find a keeper plant, I'll induce it, I'll get this pollen. It stores for many, many years, stored correctly. And then when I find something I want to breed with, I'll get it out, I'll break open a sepal, I'll cut these anthers open, one at a time, and sprinkle it on to here, onto the stigmas or pistils of the plant that I want to make the seeds with. And then that will start its process of start its pollination, where it's going to make the seed. The only difference is female to female, it can't be, what's the word start with H? Hybrid vigor, heterosis. There can't be any heterosis. In other words, it can't increase in its yield. It can't increase its vigorability. It can only stay the same. If not, it probably chops it down and makes it a little bit less. Because when the genes are going through, it's going through its recombination in its process of making the seed, the DNA chains that are broken or have its code that's not correctly written, it gets chopped off. So it reduces the gene size pool, but it makes it more stable because it's eliminated those traits that are going to show the swings. And so that's what happens when you inbreed it. So this is an inbreeding technique. So it does actually reduce the gene size and you can't get more vigor out of it, but that's what I do. I've got to keep a pheno. I'm not interested in yield. I'm interested in quality. And then the best thing about that is I've got to keep a pheno. I can go up that on any other one or itself and produce very good seeds. So if I was going to back cross this and stabilize this better, I'd do it over the next generation over here. This is how I made Pink Death Bubba. So I got Death Bubba, that was from the GML Cup, and Island Pink from a friend in BC. I crossed them. Its children's first generation come out. You're going to get generally a 50% outcome. See the colors? So I should get 50% expression in the seeds of both types. When I'll breed this back with its parent, one of the parents, this is the outcome you'd expect. So after the second generation, you would get 1:4 ratio, and 2 would be pretty much the same as the parents, and the other 2 would be 50% swings of it. This is a generalized trait because remember, from homozygotic, you should only get 2 or 1 or 2 at the most. And from heterozygotic, you can get 9 different traits. So as it goes down further, swings out and swings out. I hope that, does that help, mate? Let's just see if that helps. It's got a 30-second delay, so I've got to wait for here. Quality over quantity always. Oh yes, that's the difference with the people who are money hungry. They're really interested in the quantity, when self couldn't give a stuff. It's all about it can only be quality, because everybody can produce quantity, everyone. And when you fail, you just extract the trichomes out of it, so it's not a loss. Who just says, so are you breeding with XX plants? Yes. The XX are the female because the XY is the male. So I always breed with female plants, mate, because I don't want to do a pheno hunt to try and get and eliminate males. We're on plant counts here in Australia, so I just don't want to do that. But the bonus of it is once I've got the pollen, I'll go and mix that pollen of I'll have female pollen, feminized pollen. I'll put that on a different female plant. Now that's a bit different because it's not inbreeding anymore. This will increase your heterosis and your hybrid vigor because it's not the same genetics. You're crossing the genetics, but it's a female crossing with another female chemovar. I hope that helped clear up. My question is, why would we breed with male plants then if we can get any genetic combination in the world with female plants? Because people are interested in, it's really easy to do the male and female breeding. People want to look at they want to do their pheno hunts and their selections because you're going to get a lot of different swings. So if you do a normal cross, you'll get heaps of outcomes. And out of that, you can plant 10 seeds and you'll probably get 3 or 4 different traits out of them. If you go and plant 10, stick to your laws, but I'm just talking on theoretically. If you go to plant 10 and clone 10 and then flower them out, and then you'd see, you got, wow, this is tasting like this. And then you go and rewrite them and you could see they're all changed. Another reason is because it's easy. It's the way Mother Nature made it. And most people aren't interested in plant counts. I'm from Australia, and it's something that we've got to be focused on. Well, I like to respect the law, so that's the way that I went about it. So I hope that helps a bit. Nearly everyone does the male to female. A lot of the big seed breeders now, I've noticed that they're starting to feminize them. So they're starting to do this similar way as well, just eliminating males. Because the pollen also, it can really, at the right time, if it's unlocked at the right time, it can really destroy a crop. If you've got a heavy, thick male that's going to, look, well, I'll give you an example. Share screen. Bring up that last one that was up. This one, of Death Bubba. If this was put right, if there's a fan to the left of it, if there was, when these pollen sacs, sepals open, they spray a little bit of pollen, and that would just go into all of the awaiting stigmas or pistils that are everywhere else. So there's a chance that they get landed on, and they would germinate. They would, because I use, what's it called, pollen? Not sterile pollen. Very active pollen. I don't know. Something like that. Oh, look, here's a top where the cursor is even better. This is a zoomed back version. So you can see there's a size of 25 mil conduit, so 1 inch. So you can see that's pretty fat. So that's 2 inches across. So if there's a fan to the left of it, that goes and sprays everything. And it didn't, because this was done in a corner opposite of a fan. So what I'll do after that, I'll cut it down. And then I'll go and extract all that and do that like you saw before, how the seed quality, I'll put it and do a thing for pollen quality, because I store my pollen as well, which is, to be honest, it's more valuable than my seeds because it stores better. I can use it whenever I want. And I found after lasts for 5 years minimum I've used it. So, yeah. Hope that helps. What else we got in here? Any breeding things that might help from male to female breeding. Selfing, there was a selfing word. That's when they've put it back with itself, so that a female back to a female. So they've selfed it. That's what that is. Here they've crossed it over here. So there's a few different ways that they've gone to produce their pollen donor cuttings. So it just depends how you want to see it. That's when they induce it. Again, they'll induce it, keep doing it. Masculinized means that you've gone, you've removed the male bits, you've emasculated it. So you can go and get some, if yours herms, to be honest, let it herm. If you only got 5 or 10, let it. because you're going to get some seeds which is valuable for you down the track to store. You've got backups of what your genetics are, and store them well. Don't leave them in the blimmin' hot air like Professor Nexus. You put them in your fridge, or you've got to put them in a place where it's 3 degrees with very low humidity, and that's the best chances of making your genetics last the longest. I wouldn't suggest going into freezer type scenarios. Cryogenics, it can be done for extra long times, but it's harder to pull it back out, and you've got to do it right to not allow moisture to go in. Here's another crossing where they haven't done any inducing. So they've just done like you've said, mate, they've gone the male there with the females, and they've just gone through to give X donors at the end. Oh, look, and right at the end, then they've gone and induced them. Masculinized, so, and then here, so they've gone and got the female clones already. How? Oh, selection, XX female cuttings from a female cone. Okay, so that's one way of just doing it. Full siblings. And that's where you collect the pollen. It's over here. Homozygosity and heterozygosity. Oh, yeah. So these ones down here are the ones that aren't inbred, and they're not very stable, but the inbred ones are up here that you self them, and they're inbred and they're very stable. And remember, with that double haploid technology, you don't need your 7 generations or whatever. See up here, it takes 7 to self it, to stabilize it through traditional ways. You can do it in 2 generations. And then if you look here for the heterozygotic ways, that's 15 generations. It's still not stable. So by doing your male and female breeding plans. So I hope that explains it a bit better, my friend. Yeah, I think that does actually. That was a really good chart, that one. Well done, chart. Slide. Put that back up there. Huda, what's Huda say? Thanks for your help. Slowly learning. Okay, I hope it helped, mate. Let me know if it does or doesn't, though, because I'll explain it a bit in another way for you. You probably talked about this in the past, but what about the Thailand cannabis industry? Which genetics would thrive over there? Any genetics thrives. Just like in Australia, I mostly work with the genetics in Thailand would thrive. The reason being, they would make them subject through epigenetics. So if they're going to go get something from Canada, which is rad, they would, or even from Europe, which is quite, no, you get from Canada because it's reliable. So you go and do that with your phytosanitary certificate, so that nothing's been imported wrongly, and you respect the law, whatever you have to do there. You would go and grow it, and then it might be hard the first time, but you do it inside, and then you'd go and increase the temperature a bit and start adapting it to the conditions that you want to put it outdoors in, if it's going to be outdoors. And in Thailand, they're mostly outdoors because they can't afford electricity to be indoors. So we'll talk on an outdoor scenario. So they go and get the Arctic genetics and make epigenetics happen. So grow it up. You put a mother plant in there even. So you put your seeds out in mother plant, and then that would, remember the swings from the clones are lowest in the middle to just below the middle. So you'd go and take a few cuts off the very tip of the top, and that's going to epigenetic swing it. Plant that out, grow it up. In 3 months' time, do the same thing again. Cut the tip of it, clone it again. And then after 12 months, that should be easily ready to go outside and thrive in your outside heat that Thailand has and their conditions. So you get epigenetics to make it work for you. So in other words, these people that say, oh, we can't grow that type of cultivar because it doesn't suit, well, you make it suit. You can grow it. You just have to make it adapt. That's what I do, mate, because Australia's got poor genetics, is a good way to put it. Also, what I've found, maybe now it might be starting to get a bit better, but mate, everything's like good luck. I like mine strong. I use a medicinal strength in the high 20% THC. So stuff in the high teens and stuff doesn't even cut for me. I can tell when I smoke stuff like that too. What about outdoors, he says? Oh. I hope I included that. Your explanation does help, but I was after a specific answer. It's hard to explain your message, though. Oh, well, the answer's no, mate. Put people onto this stream. If you want to allow this stream to be cut, and you can go and cut your question and put it on your YouTube. Let me know if you want that. Where was your first start of your question? I'll just cruise up a bit. Here, this one. Is it true that male cannabis plants can't pass on new traits to females? It is not true. That is wrong. They definitely can. So there's your easy one thing answer. Done that. I'll try again. The Y chromosome doesn't pass on to the female, so growing a Y chromosome plant would be pointless. Well, it does pass the Y. If you're breeding with a male and female, it does pass through. But if you're not breeding, if you're breeding a feminized, it doesn't pass through because there's no male bit attached to it. What you can do, I don't even know the chemical. You can get your male plants and induce them and turn them female even, just like I get my females and turn them male. You can do that for testing. I'll try again. The Y chromosome doesn't pass on to the female. No, because that's correct, because it doesn't have one in its existence. It's both its chromosomes for it to make up its diploid cell are both female. They're both an XX. It doesn't have a Y, so it can't pass on. You've got to get the male involved for it to have that. So growing a male chromosome plant will be pointless. Well, no. It depends. Remember, Huda, there's many ways to grow and to breed and do all this sort of stuff. So the people that want to grow the male plants, they want to produce copious amounts of seeds, and they're not real. I'm not going to say that. That's just their technique that they like. For me, I'm a feminized person. I don't like doing massive. I don't like here's an example. I'm not going to say the person, but this person gave out 10 seeds of his Morgana. Oh, that probably gave it away. And this one person who grew it, it turned out 10 of 10 were male. So I've got no interest in anything. I'd hate to hear that back of a person. They've gone and purchased your rad genetics, and then they can't do anything with them. All they can do is basically breed. So that's another reason, why I stick to the female only, and I do it with pollen. I don't do it the old school. It's an old school way. So those people that do it, I'm not putting. And there's many ways to grow, and people grow for many reasons. It's the nicest way to say it, because yeah. What else, Huda, can I help you with, or anybody else? I hope that helps. I love your questions though, Huda. I really do. Thank you. If anybody else wants to jump in, they're more than welcome. Remember, no question is a dumb question. Absolutely not. This is a show that treats every question normal. Even if you're going to feel embarrassed, you think, oh God, I can't ask. You can. If you're not sure of it, just ask it, and I will definitely not put you down. And anybody who puts you down for asking a question can leave, because I'm here to help, like Australia. Australia's doctors need help. And that's the reason, because they know it all. They're not asking anything, or they haven't done their 4-hour course to be medically registered to prescribe it. Sorry, but their 4-hour course. But at least it's a start. So yeah, any question is not a dumb question in my eyes. I really enjoy helping, because I study my university plant science and microbiology for medical cannabis. It's to eliminate all the bro science, because so much crap's been put out there and misled people and gets into the media as well, and it's even turning them astray, and people believe the media. So that's why I really went and done a lot of my studies quite a few years ago to allow that to happen. Because stuff like this, TGA flags prescription, TGA in Australia flags prescription cannabis. because risks as pain experts claim. Written a few days ago, September 16th, 2023. So this is the reason why I do this show, to try and help. So any question, please, is definitely not a dumb question. We really need to get the correct terminologies, the correct information, the correct procedures, the correct medical benefits. Difference between street weed and medical weed has to be all out there. So where's the stop share button? So that's the reason why no question is a dumb question, and then I really put a fair bit of effort in to try and help people and get virtually nothing out of it. Thanks for your explanation, Huda says. Good on you, mate. I'm glad it helped. And I really like those questions. Keep coming. It helped. Your questions also help me, because if I don't talk about it enough, all my information just goes and sits into a part of my brain I can't use anymore, and I get some things incorrect. So by talking about it lots, it reintegrates my knowledge, and yeah, I appreciate it too. It makes for a stream. That's good. Need more of it, I say. Where's all these more questions? But so everybody's just happy. It's the main thing. Well, was that it? Oh wow, 76 minutes. Good stuff. All right, is there any other questions I can help with? Next week, I think will be, I'm in week 10 of my studies this semester. So it might be a open question next week. All right, how's that? I'll just make it, oh no, I pressed the wrong button. It'll be open topic next week, because I've got a few slides ready, but it's not enough for a show. So to keep it interesting like this one, I'll do that. What do you reckon? Very good. Oh, and there was some ads that I had to monitor too. Apparently, I've set it so there's ads every 30 minutes. Okay. I don't know how that went. I was going to watch that, but didn't. Actually, I've got my tablet open and it didn't happen on my tablet, so weird. All right, thank you. I don't think there's anything else to go much on. The genetics, it's more so that Australia's doctors and public need better Canna education. That's the whole thing. Please put together your myths and your problems in medical cannabis and put them in the chat box for me next week. And we can hopefully make an interesting stream out of it. And because of your topics that you can bring, I'll rename the stream for the topics that we talk about. So, dead set. No ads today, says Ned Kelly. Okay, maybe I clicked the wrong button. I have to try and generate some revenue somehow, because I make nothing of this for all this effort that I put in. And you guys and girls can see I do put in effort. So, yes. All right. There's been a few things said. Thanks for your explanation, Huda. Lene, thanks for your show. Another good one. Thank you for the nice words. It's appreciated. Huda420, appreciate your time and the knowledge you pass on to the community. Thanks for the show. No worries, mate. Spread it to others. Let's get the numbers a bit higher. That's what I reckon. We need that. There's a few things that happened in Australia a while ago, and those people, good luck to them. They're even welcome. But let's just create a nice community. Oh, yeah, no ads. Renee, sounds good. No ads a show. Odd. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Yes. Woohoo. Thanks, everybody, for making my stream. All your rad questions. Good on you, Huda. Get everything for next week, and I'll be here again, same time, to unlock all the myths and show my slides and shed some light on this wonderful plant that we all admire, the medical cannabis plant. You sure do, yes. So happy breeding, happy growing, and good luck to you all. Hello, Dave. G'day. And yes, do put in a big effort. Thank you, mate, for your nice words. Happy breeding, happy growing, and good luck to you all. And bye-bye. See you next week. Thanks again. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye-bye.